Atlanta, there are nights when the crack of the bat tells a story. Not just of hits and runs, but of something deeper, something more fragile, the state of the game itself. And if you're one of those people, the kind who sits back with folded arms, wondering whether baseball is still the beating heart of American summer, or if it's quietly slipping into irrelevance, then Truist Park gave you a moment tailor-made for your doubts. A swing. A sharp line drive. It kissed the faux brick just beside a glowing FanDuel sign, almost as if to say, yes, we know what this is now. A game once about grass stains, dust, and decades-old rivalries, now decided beneath LED glow and the algorithmic pulse of modern engagement. And this wasn't just any game. This was the 95th All-Star Game. Once the crown jewel of July. Once a gathering of legends in their prime. Once a night that felt like Americana bottled and shaken into something electric. Now it ends in a swing-off. A contest within the contest. A desperate, gleaming mechanism designed not for purity, but for attention. Because attention, dear friends, is the currency now. Not tradition. Not rhythm. Not the slow burn of a pitcher's duel or the poetry of 9 innings balanced on the edge of tension. No, now we must swing. Quickly. Flashily. Decisively. Because somewhere out there, a viewer is scrolling. The swing-off replaced extra innings. Extra innings replaced the mega rosters. Mega rosters replaced the unwritten rules. And all of it replaced a game that once ended in a tie, awkwardly, absurdly, before a confused Bud Selig sat stone-faced and unsure, caught between legacy and logistics. That was 2002. This is now. And now, baseball is changing. Some would say evolving. Others, dying. Not with a crash, but with a glitzy swing aimed at engagement. A hit next to a betting ad, in the wee hours, while half the country slept and the other half flicked between screens. Is this what the Midsummer Classic has become? No longer a showcase of the sport's soul, but a glittering distraction dressed up as heritage. The uniforms still shimmered. The players still grinned. There were fireworks, cameras, flashbulbs, and children in oversized caps watching with mouths open. But beneath it all, something shifted. The All-Star Game has been many things over the years. At its height, it was DiMaggio and Williams sharing a dugout. It was Bo Jackson launching one into the heavens. It was Pedro Martinez carving through a generation of sluggers like a hot knife through legacy. It was pride. It was a declaration. The National League versus the American League, not just conferences, but identities. Now it's a scheduling problem solved with gimmicks. Now it's a production challenge solved with betting partnerships and digital overlays. Now it's a reminder that nostalgia doesn't pay unless it's sponsored. The swing-off itself wasn't bad. It was exciting. It was fast. It had stakes. But it felt foreign. Like watching a family heirloom repainted in neon. 3 swings per batter. 3 chances to claim a game that once took 9 innings, a bullpen, and a chess match of substitutions. It wasn't wrong. But it wasn't right either. And yet, for the modern fan, the TikTok scroller, the fantasy league die-hard, the betting slip analyst, maybe it was perfect. Clean, quick, marketable. But what is lost in the process? Does anyone still remember the All-Star Games that felt sacred? When the league paused not just to celebrate, but to honor the artistry. When the dugouts brimmed with the best, not just statistically, but spiritually. That sense of awe is harder to find now. Not gone, but hidden beneath the layers. Baseball hasn't vanished. It still breathes. In the grass. It still sings in the crack of the bat and the stretch of the 7th inning. But tonight it wore a different face. It smiled a little too hard. It danced a little too quick. And as the faux brick soaked in the echo of that final swing, the game walked off not into glory, but into marketing metrics. Baseball will endure. It always has. But how it endures, and what it becomes in the process, that's the question. And Truist Park, on a warm Atlanta night, gave us a glimpse. Not of collapse, but of transformation, of a game adjusting its swing, chasing a moving strike zone called relevance.